What's up, everybody? My name is Shadow Phoenix. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some Planet Coaster. It is, of course, October, my favorite holiday and favorite month of the entire year. I wait the entire year just for this month. I seriously do. For the month, I am having basically two giant projects that I've been working on. One of them is Crystal Gardens and its Haunted Mansion, and the other one is what you see before you, the Raven, which is my wing coaster that I've been working on for the month. It's my monthly build, and we've got quite a lot done. We've got the coaster layout done. The station is just about there. As you can see, I've been working on it a little bit more. We've got some more details and stuff kind of put on here. Still tweaking a few things here and there, like I'm still working on the backpack here on the actual loading part of there, but yeah, the house is coming out quite well. We've been adding a few little details like the brush on the bottom down here. We've got the land kind of built up to that. I've got plenty more plans for this. I even added a couple of gargoyles up here at the top, and we've been doing a little bit of coloring work here as well with some of the pieces, and just kind of working on the roof lines and stuff, and that's pretty much what we've been doing. The next thing that I will be working on, of course, is going to be the old ruined church, which is going to be going right here. The idea behind this, and if we can pull it off, is the wing coaster will come out of this and then go into a 0G row, and it will go into the ruins of the church and then fly through a broken giant stained glass window and then swoop down in here into the graveyard. So for today's episode, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build the church and we're going to build the graveyard and kind of work on that. And I hope you guys will join me for the entire episode. Not sure how long it's going to be. We'll find out. It's not too much of a complex build. It's not going to be as complex as what the house was, but it's still going to be a little difficult. We got a lot of work to do with the stained glass window and some things in the graveyard that will probably take a little bit of planning. So I'll have to kind of do a couple of things on that. And then, yeah, after that, it will be time for the POV next week. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. It's going to be a pretty amazing coaster. The only thing I'm not going to be able to get done on it, which I was really hoping to do, was going to be the custom supports. It was going to be one of the first times I ever got to do the custom support, and I have not been able to do that this month. I've been so busy with so many other things that I'm not going to be able to have time to do the custom supports. So hopefully at some point I can get back to this coaster and actually do that. But for the release on Halloween and for the POV on Halloween, it's just not going to be ready, unfortunately. So, but we will still get the coaster out, and it should be. I mean, I'm really happy with it, and apparently you guys are liking it too. So, without further ado, let's get into the time-lapse build and let's get started on this church, shall we? Alright, so here we are in the time-lapse. This is sped up probably about 6 times, I think, for this one. A lot of footage to go through, and I wanted a shorter amount of time than I have been doing here lately. So one of the first things I thought we should probably do, just to make sure we get everything to scale, is the actual frame for the stained glass window, and see if we can get that to kind of work. So I decided, I kind of did some pre-measurements, and then I decided that the best way to do this would be probably to lay out 4 of these semicircles, or quarter circles, I guess, and then use this as a model for the frame. So maybe just basically make 1/2 and then rotate it around, and then you got both halves. Double it up to make it just a little bit wider, and there we go. So that's our ring, which is going to be the frame for the stained glass window. And for the stained glass, I'm going to use these gems right here. So this is just me kind of toying around with them and seeing how this is going to look, and I was like, okay, yeah, this could probably work. I needed to figure out what kind of design and stuff I was going to do on it, but that's going to come later. I actually did that off screen. But, you know, as you can see, I'm just kind of putting these just a little bit up like the broken shards, and that kind of works pretty good. I did check, and we do have enough clearance there for the wing coaster to go through perfectly. So I'll have to recheck everything again later when we actually get the entire stained glass window done. But like I said, I ended up doing that like off screen. I wasn't recording when I did it, and then I was like, that's just too good. I don't want to re-record that. I don't want to tear it back down and then rebuild it. So let's start with the frame of the tower here, or the frame of the church now. for this, I tried a lot of different stuff. I actually worked on this the entire weekend. Well, that's not true. I did have a date on Saturday, which went really well, for those who are wondering. And this, you know, so I didn't get to work on it Saturday until late that Saturday night. But I did work on it Friday. I worked on it Sunday all day. And then, of course, once I finally finished on Sunday, then I had to like render all the footage, and then, of course, do what I'm doing right now. It's technically it's about 4:23 in the morning right now for me, and I'm recording and doing this overview. Now, the reason I'm not talking a whole lot about what I'm doing on the screen right now at this very moment is because it doesn't really matter, because none of this actually stays. I completely changed this entire thing, but I still kind of wanted to. This is something I was trying, and I wanted to include it in the video. And you know, so I was trying some different stuff to try to figure out what is this thing going to look like, because I had it in my head what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure. Once I actually started on it, it's like what I wanted, I couldn't seem to get into the game. So I fiddled around with it and fiddled around with it like all weekend long, and for a few days of last week actually I worked around with it too. So for now, let's just go ahead and we'll build this little side room on. This is going to be the church entrance. I don't know if this is going to be a church or a chapel. I guess technically it's the same thing, but I wanted to kind of get this up on the hill here, and like I said in the preview right before we started the time lapse, for the coaster to kind of do a 0G row through a broken stained glass window. That was kind of what I wanted to do. So I did have it in my head, just trying to get it into the game was, just it wasn't working. So I tried a lot of different stuff. But anyway, this part right here that I'm building right now actually ended up staying. It was this tower that just didn't work right. I was just trying to get it, and to me it just felt like, because the stained glass window had to be so big for the wing coaster to go through, that was the biggest issue I had. Here you see me actually trying to like expand it out and make it just wider, and I was like, no, I wish I could make it thinner, and I was trying some different stuff. So we tried a few roofs and stuff on top of that. I was like, no, that's just kind of dumb, so that wasn't working. That I ended up kind of liking that, but still I thought the tower just wasn't, it just didn't feel right. And I think I did like 4 different versions of this before the one I actually end up building here in just a second actually ends up staying, or at least somewhat staying. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this play out until we get to the next section here where I can talk about that. Alright, so there, as I was actually kind of working on the tower and stuff, and I was looking at things, I kind of got the idea, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we did some like steps down, kind of almost into the ground and kind of downward into where the cemetery is going to be. And I really like these spiral steps, and I was trying to get those to work, and I was just like, no. Yeah, nothing I was really trying there was really going to work, so I keep yawning. I'm trying to talk and I keep yawning. So I decided to go with the square steps here instead. And then, of course, I put the little door in there, and I was like, ooh, yeah, that works. So we're going to go that route. And then the square steps kind of go down, and then they're going to go down in the cemetery. And I really liked how that was going to look. Well, I figured once we get the foliage and all the little details and stuff on that, that's going to look really good. But we still got to work on this tower. So what you see me do right now is like, nope, it's got to go. Everything's got to go. So I start over, and I put these like little pieces up through here, one on each side, and then from there I had the idea, let's do, instead of doing like a curved top, let's do a triangle top on it, and then let's put some like windows up on top of that, and maybe we can like kind of do an I don't really know what you'd call it, like kind of pushed back, like to have the stained glass window on a separate wall that's kind of pushed a little further back, and bring out the top of it and the bottom of it just a little more, and then kind of maybe do not really like a patio kind of area on right up below the stained glass window, but kind of what I'm talking about there, just kind of do like a small balcony kind of area right there. So just got to get this right here with the window. And as I was doing this, you know, I had to like split the arches across a little bit, so I ended up putting that little token thingy right there. But then I put this underneath the window, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can just lower that entire thing and just use that to cover up the gap in between the arches there. That's gonna work pretty good. So we do that, and just kind of looking at everything, and I'm kind of like, yeah, this could maybe work. So we'll move this over, and once I moved this over a little bit and kind of centered it on that one left side there, that's where really things kind of started to come together for the tower, and I was like, yeah, this could most definitely work. So we'll put a few like decorations up on top of the roof here. I was trying some different things with some of the fencing and some of the new vintage stuff that we got in that pack, and you know, I was trying to do maybe some kind of like I don't know, like grading or something on top of it, but I eventually just decided this is probably what looks best right here. And of course we'll put like a little maybe it's like a cross or something on top of it. I was thinking about using that piece that it's one of the pieces we got with the base game. It's like it's a giant well, it's a topper basically for the roofs, and it's got this, it kind of looks like a cross a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but we're gonna put that up there now. We'll try to put a window there, and that wasn't working, but I wanted to bring this down here too. I've been using that piece a lot here over the last few weeks, and I really like how it came together. So I was liking the towers on each side, the round towers, but I thought, you know what if we made them the stucco pieces instead, with the Roman kind of columns, and that I ended up really liking a whole lot better. So that's what we ended up going with for the final draft of this. And as you can see, things are starting to come together now, and you can kind of see the shape of the church and stuff kind of working here. I thought about building some custom like little towers on top of that, but then I was like, no, I've already wasted so much time. Those little square pieces from Vintage work great. I really liked how they looked on top of that. So yeah, would it look better if I did do some custom ones? Yes, but we're running short on time. It's almost Halloween, and I really got to get this done. So I just decided let's not worry about it, and just let's use those. Those are good. Those are fine. So here I was experimenting with trying to like cover up the pieces here around our frame, and that was gonna work, but I just was like, you know what? I don't want it to be stone, because you can't really tell that it's inlaid back into the wall a little bit. So that's when I got the idea to use the old-fashioned trick of using the windows for the walls. So there's that one window that looks like it's a stucco back. So when you flip it around, then you end up with a stucco wall. And you can use it to kind of shape things like this. And that is what I ended up doing here, to kind of give this part that's just kind of inlaid back into the wall just more of a stucco look instead of the brick or the stonework. And we'll just take all those pieces, flip them around, and there we go. And that looks really, really good. Yeah, and once I started doing this and I started putting more of the pieces and stuff together, it really started to kind of come together and kind of take the shape that I wanted it to be. Now we're just going to work on this bottom part here a little bit. We're going to put some to kind of thicken the base around the actual church a little bit. We're going to use these pieces right there, and then fix these walls that I messed up originally when I was building that. It is like I said, it's 4:30 in the morning, guys, so if I'm not extremely talkative during this, that is why. I've been building on this so much. You guys have no idea. It's stressing me out to try to get this done. I was actually supposed to start my new job this weekend, and ended up I got pushed back for, it's been like 2 weeks since they hired me, and they did the drug test and a background check. Drug test came back fine, obviously, because, you know, I don't mess around with that stuff. And the background check, though, for some odd reason, I haven't got my background check done. This is the slowest thing I've ever seen. It's 2 weeks, and they still haven't got my background check done. So I ended up getting an email, and they pushed my start date back. So I'm guessing it shouldn't take more than another week, so I'll probably be starting next Sunday instead of today But yeah, I didn't get to start this week. So, but I mean, that's kind of a good thing. It's a bad thing because that's one more week I'm not getting paid. But it's a great thing because it gives me more time that I'm going to be able to get this done and then actually finish this and the other project as well. So what I was doing here is I was making these buttresses. That's a funny word, buttresses, isn't it? That's like, that's a weird word. Anyway, I was making these things on each side of it here to kind of like these support columns to kind of hold it up. It gives a more kind of a, I want to say like a Gothic feel to it. Like it kind of reminds me of those like French churches like Notre Dame. I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. It kind of reminds me of those old Gothic castles and like Gothic cathedrals and stuff, and I really like that. And then of course I was trying to mess around here with the actual church, but the more I started doing this right here and putting onto it, it was just like, this is getting way too big. This is starting to turn into more of a castle than like this chapel on a hill, and I didn't really want that to do kind of what it was doing, and it was just getting out of hand. So I had to dial it back a bit, and I had to think about it for a little bit, and so I tried a few more things, and then of course this is what you kind of are going to see here. I did like the windows on the side like that, so I definitely wanted to do that, and we just move those over, just place these pieces. One of the things I do a lot is I separate a lot of my pieces from the actual building so that I can get better angles, better pieces, better maneuverability with the pieces that I'm building with. It makes for like a ton of buildings, so that way if you're trying to move stuff or copy stuff, it makes it harder. But you know, I don't plan on moving a whole lot of my things once it's done, and you know, since I actually know. So but if you're placing this into a park, you know, it does kind of make it hard to grab and to, like, you know, move it around and stuff if you've got more things around that you don't want to pick up. So but hopefully you guys are kind of getting what I'm saying there. You're getting what I'm laying down, right? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so now we're just gonna kind of start making this look like it's an actual ruined church here. That's why I'm putting the ruined castle stone pieces on the sides there. And here I was messing around with trying to make a broken column, and those, I was like, those could maybe work, but I just was like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't have the same shape as the other one. It just doesn't look right. So I kind of got the idea, what if we take some rocks and make it look like it's just been chipped away and weathered away and broken, and maybe we could make that work. It's not perfect, but I mean, you know, you're going to be looking at this from a distance, and you are going to be like flying by it when you're on the coaster, so it gives the effect of what I was looking for, and that's the best that we could ask for, I think, in this case. So, and here we have, I'm just trying to copy this other piece around, and since we have this upside down arch piece that's broken as well, I thought that would go really good right there to make it look like that's kind of broken off as well. And just kind of placing these, some more doing the rock trick there to make it look like the stonework's busted up, and then just kind of separating these two sides right here with the window. Now I kind of wanted to get this to kind of look like it was broken away too, and it kind of worked. So it's not perfect, but you know, it's Planet Coaster. We got to work with what we got, at least until the Theme Maker's Toolkit comes out, right? Alright, and we're just going to finish off a few of the wall pieces here and finish off my stairway. It's not really a, since it's going down, I don't guess it's really a stairway to heaven. I guess it's the opposite, isn't it? Of course, and like I said, that's going to be a graveyard that we're going to kind of do down there, that the coaster's going to fly around real quick right through there. Alright, and now we're going to pick it up with, I actually ended up doing a few more works. You did kind of see a glimpse of it there for just a second. I have done the stained glass window. The broken stained glass window is now done. So you will see it a little better here in a moment, but I will, of course, you know, showcase what, you know, the finished product here is, or the mostly finished product anyway. It's still not done yet. There's still a lot more work to do, but for the roof, you know, again, to make it look like the building is in ruins, I wanted to do this trick I kind of did in Crystal Gardens with making a busted up roof for our Barnstormer ride. and I want to kind of do the same thing here. So I'm using the bracket pieces to make a roof, and then I was just gonna like chip away at it and make it look like it's all broken wood and broken shingles and stuff, and like a lot of the tower has fallen away here. Trying to get it to match up with the actual roof pieces was kind of a pain. It doesn't, but it gets the effect I'm going for, and that's the biggest thing. If I really wanted to take my time, I would probably do the entire roof as custom, but it's not really worth it to get that effect. It looks fine the way it is, I feel, so that's what we're going to go with. And again, it is going to be something you are going to be viewing from a distance, and you are just going to be flying past really quick, so not a huge thing. Now I'm just going to copy most of that over to the other side there, and of course I messed up. I should have gotten 2 pieces each layer instead of just 1. That way I get that's how that will work with the different shades of color there. So I did want to get the different shades of color on these bracket pieces, because that it kind of, if you put them all the same color, then it just looks like one big line. It doesn't look like the actual shingles. So yeah, that works out pretty good though. And then I thought, you know what, let's get some support beams that look like the support beams have kind of broken away. Maybe do some of that. What I will probably end up doing is taking some of the driftwood planks and kind of inlaying them in with those support beams to kind of look like, you know, the wood is chipped away and broken away as well. I think that would actually kind of turn out pretty good. And then we're going to do the back of the church here and the main building of the church here. That's not the actual tower. And again, I'm doing the same effect here using the broken walls and just kind of going around it there. The coaster's going to be flying through that. And we're going to do the same thing with the roof here in a minute too. This is where I was like, let's take a look and try to figure out what color would be good for the roof pieces. But alright, so this was, I was like, okay, let's see if we can take these and copy these down here. That would probably be a whole lot easier to try to do. But in the end I decided, yeah, it's just not, I can't get it lined up right. So I'm just going to start all the way over, and we'll just rebuild these from scratch like this. So we'll just take these and start putting them up there, back and forth. And you see how I'm kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm making each one a little different, and kind of, I'm gonna say jigsawing it basically, like a puzzle piece, and that way they don't have the same, there's not a complete line going up and down. So I want them to kind of have a little bit of, not parallel, in other words. So, and it was a pain to try to catch those two, because, you know, it was kept getting the other pieces and I couldn't get it. You know how this game is when you're trying to grab multiple pieces with the advanced move tool and it doesn't get it straight. It was doing that on me too, so that was a pain as well. And I am just going to, I realized at this point I moved this too far back and it needed to be closer that way. So I was like, alright, we'll just move this forward like that, and then we'll take and put some more roof on there. And yeah, it's really starting to come together. Now I just have to paint our pieces the different color here. A couple of different shades of brown on the roof, and I may go back and do a third shade as well here and there. And then I just got to fill in these gaps here at the top, and that's going to do that. And then we can kind of, I think from there we'll head on and start working on the cemetery, which actually didn't take me very long to get the cemetery done at all. I was actually dreading the cemetery, and it was actually something that it went by a little quick. We're just going to finish up these ruined walls down here on the bottom. And a little bit of terrain work will happen right after that, I believe. Oh, nope. Okay, I didn't catch that. Alright, so I didn't actually record me working on the terrain, but we did work on the terrain back there a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to start working on the graveyard. I don't have a whole lot I can really say about what I did here. I placed down some graves, just kind of randomly, some fence work and some, you know, some random... It made it look like the fence has been, like, rusted and fell down. A couple of dead trees and some alpine trees in there, just kind of get some flora in there. The brush is also quite good as well for kind of going around with the, you put some bushes in the ground, and then you put the brush work down in there with it, and it makes a nice effect of it being overgrown. See, I took that fence and kind of laid it down like it. Oh, okay, this fence has fallen down because it's just so old. It's just rusted off if it's or it's come loose from the ground. Maybe the wind blew it over. And there we go. A little bit of brush work here and there. And those are the pieces I was talking about. It's like little shrubs and stuff in there, like thorny bushes. And I'm just going to copy that on the other side, and it worked pretty good actually. A little bit of use the dogwood just to kind of get some color in that. And of course some alpine trees, kind of just like make it look a little more foresty. And what I'm probably going to do is go around the outside of that, around the ring on the upper part with maybe a path and some fencing up there as well. Alright, so from here, guys, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what we are, our halfway finished project so far. Let's look at what we've got so far at this point, and kind of you know, where we're going to be going next with it. Because the next video in this section is probably most likely going to be the POV. So this is what we got so far. Alright, now we're done with the time lapse, so let's see what we've got done for today's episode. As you can see, I've got a few more trees and stuff down here to kind of do that, and we're going to put a lot more of these down. We're going to really make this look very, very foresty, because I want the coaster to swoop through that forest. The graveyard came out really good. We did some nice brush effects there on the terrain. I want to kind of come back in here and maybe change up the terrain paints that we're using for this and try to make this look a little better. So we'll probably do that. One thing I didn't really show off too well in the actual video in the construction build, because I ended up building this like I was trying some stuff out, and it ended up being so good and I was like, I don't really want to rebuild that. So the gems and stuff did make a very, very nice stained glass window. I just basically started making these like zigzag shapes with the beams, and then I kind of filled those in with a kind of a pattern. I went blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, all the way around, as you can see here. And then in the outside V's, I did like an orange color as a nice contrast to that. I was kind of a yellowish, you know, so that ended up, I mean, it's really beautiful. When the light catches it just right, it looks great. We did a little bit of trim work on top there as well, and then of course just coloring the brick and some other stuff in there, and you know, just doing lots of stuff with the terrain, and you know, doing some trim around the edges of the outside here. I also threw some windows on the sides back here as well. And let's take a look at our roof up here. So as you can see, you know, it definitely kind of has that very ruined effect to it. You know, like the roof is just decayed and fell in, and the same for back here. You know, it's definitely withstood the test of time here the best it has. Again, you know, the roof does not match the actual other pieces, so probably the best way to do that would probably be to go back and actually make the entire thing a custom roof. But I don't know. I think this is just going to work. You know, like I said earlier, the coaster is going to be going by this so fast that it doesn't really make a huge kind of deal. Speaking of the coaster, let's watch it kind of go through its mode here. So there we go. There's with our drop into, I call this a reverse Immelman. I don't know if this actually has an element name or not, but I like to call it a reverse Immelman. And then into the butterflies. Hopefully I'm getting these elements right. And then right through that. I wanted to kind of catch that coming through the actual stained glass window, because you're just going to have to take my word for it right now until you actually get your hands on it. But it does go perfectly through that. I suppose in reality something like this probably wouldn't fly. It would have to be bigger, because if the guests stuck their hands or something out, their hands might actually end up like hitting something. But their legs and stuff are fine. So you know, the dangling legs are perfect. This is the reason why they tell you to keep your hands inside the coaster at all times. So yeah, we're just gonna have to do some more forest work back in there. And of course, I also want to kind of take a look here one more time at our station. It is still being worked on back here on the back, and we still got some more work to do on that. So just detail work. All of that is going to be shown off. The next video will be on Halloween, the 31st, and that's going to be the POV. So you guys will see all the finished work on this. Everything's going to be done, and we'll be, you know, as typical when I do a POV, I do like, you know, flybys and stuff to show off certain things, and then we will show the actual POV, and I might do a night ride as well. If you guys are interested in seeing a night version of it in the same video as well, let me know and I will put that in there. If not, I'll probably just do a daytime showing. The nights are kind of hard to see anyway, so yeah, it's just how it is. But as you can see, I still got some more work to do around the edges. I got to trim everything up, finish some stuff up. I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe moving the mansion house, which would be moving the station a little bit as well. So we will see how that comes out. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this build video. It took me a while to get it done, and I was expecting to try to get it done for the weekend, and then I'd have another video. But yeah, this is pretty much it. We're just about got this one done. Now I just got to go work on our haunted house in Crystal Gardens and get that done by the 31st as well. Man, I'm running out of time. So you can place your bets now to see if I'm actually going to get both of them done and both of them the way I want. So I'm going to be working on them for the next couple of days, and we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, though, you know, thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching the video, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thanks. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video. I very much appreciate it. If you are not already a subscriber here on the channel and you'd like to be, click that button down below to do so, and click the bell to be notified the next time a video goes live, as I have been doing daily content here on the channel. You can also follow me over on Twitter, and I live stream on twitch.tv as well. So if you like the content you see here, you will love the live streaming too. The links for those are in the video description down below. Now, if you are in a position to do so and you would like to support the channel, you can do that through our Patreon page, or you can use one of our affiliate links such as Greenman Gaming, Humble Bundle, or Amazon. Any purchase you make by clicking on our links, a little percentage of that goes to me to help towards living expenses as well as making the content better here on the channel. Now, as always, I love to hear from you guys, so make sure you click that like button and leave comments below to let me know your thoughts on the videos. That's going to do it for me today. Remember, guys, wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See you later.